As a marriage success coach and affair recovery specialist, one of the things that I see that keeps many people stuck in a place of unforgiveness. Are we moving forward? Are we not? Have I forgiven? Have I not? Have I let this go? Have I not? It's just not knowing the difference. The difference between forgiveness and reconciliation, and the difference between forgiveness and trust. Now, I'm not going to deal with the difference between forgiveness and trust in this video. What we are going to deal with is the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Because if you get confused in this place, you may end up just feeling like you're going crazy. You're feeling like you're going 4 steps forward, 5 steps back. And actually, you're not going to get to that place where you feel like you as a person are healing and your relationship is coming back together as you desire it to. My name's Daisy Chiwako. I am your marriage success coach. Let's get into it. Many of us know that not only for us to move forward in our marriage, but more importantly for us just to move forward within ourselves, that forgiveness is just number one. Like, we have to move on to letting go of the thing that hurt us, of the thing that disappointed us, of the betrayal, and whatever it is. Our job is to work on letting that go. Now, here's the important thing to know. We're not working on forgiving and letting that go necessarily for the sake of the marriage or for the other person. Actually, forgiveness doesn't have anything to do with the other person or any of the surrounding circumstances. It is all about you. It's all about setting yourself free. It's all about you deciding, actually, why should I be the one who carries around all this burden, all this weight of anger and bitterness and resentment and disappointment when it wasn't my fault? And at some point, yes, we want to recognize that it's normal for you to feel that way, and that is the consequences of what has happened and a natural response to trauma. But then we got to move to the position where we're saying, right, I'm done with that now. I need to let this go for my sake, for my own sanity. But then also, if your desire is to move on in the relationship and reconcile, then forgiveness is definitely the first place to start. Now, I want to first of all talk about my story just to help you understand. When I found out about the infidelity that happened in my marriage, and everything blew up, my whole world blew up, and we separated for a short while. But once we decided that actually maybe there's something that we want to work on here, I knew that forgiveness was going to be something that I had to do. So I definitely worked hard on the forgiveness. And there's a video that I'll pull up here that talks about the journey that I went on in terms of forgiveness. But it wasn't the case that once I decided, right, I've forgiven you, that suddenly I was looking at my husband like, okay, great, we can move on and we can keep this going. We can go through these steps of reconciliation. I'm so excited to stay married to you. I can absolutely see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm skipping down the tunnel with you with joy in my heart. It wasn't that. It was, okay, I have forgiven. And then I'm looking at my husband and I'm like, but I'm not sure whether I can go on this journey of healing with you, right? It was a completely different mind space. It was a completely different decision. It was a completely different journey. And I think one of the things that you have to remember is that there's almost 2 roads that are going in parallel here. So we've got the road of your own healing, which absolutely starts with forgiveness, but then also we've got the road of reconciliation. And you have to, regardless of whether you're going to reconcile or not, I always encourage my clients to forgive anyway. You could be coming to me and saying to me, Daisy, listen, I'm completely out of this marriage. I want a divorce. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine. We still have to at some point do some healing work, do some forgiveness work, right? regardless. You could come and say, okay, Daisy, I want to stay, I want to work this out somehow, some way. Again, we'll be looking, starting with forgiveness at some point. So forgiveness is for you, because whatever decision you're making, you've got to remember that your emotional state is where your thoughts and your actions will be born from. And so if your thoughts are clouded by these feelings of anger and bitterness, then that's going to drive your decision making. And this is why oftentimes I ask people not even to make any huge decisions whilst they're still at the peak of their emotions, because once those emotions go away, you're going to be seeing things a lot more differently and clearly. You might still be saying, actually, my eyes are so clear that I recognize that this isn't for me and I still want out. Fine, that's great. But also your eyes might clear and you're saying, actually, I might not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now, but I want to go on the journey to discover it. And so being clear on the difference between reconciliation and forgiveness is so important. And forgiveness is going to really help you to start that healing journey, but also get clarity of mind so that you can make a decision as to whether you're even going to reconcile or not. So you're on the road, you started on the path of healing, and you can decide, okay, this healing journey I'm going to do on my own and continue on my own, but we start with forgiveness. Or you can start forgiveness and say, okay, I'm on my healing journey, but actually I know that I've got to also be on this reconciliation journey. Does that make sense? So at this point, I just want to draw some really clear distinctions between forgiveness and reconciliation. The first thing is that forgiveness is internal, whilst reconciliation is relational. So forgiveness is going to be happening all within you, all for you. It's an internal thing. It's you dealing with your own thoughts, your own emotions. It's you choosing to let go of the pain and the hurt and disappointment. It's all happening within you. And like I said before, it's not really got anything to do with the person who betrayed you or hurt you or the circumstances. It's something that you deal with within you, for you, right? However, reconciliation is about the relationship. It's relational. And so it's a process that involves the two of you. And this is so important to note. You cannot reconcile your marriage on your own. One person can't do it. Even the person who is the betrayer cannot reconcile the relationship on their own. It does need the buy-in of two people. Now, maybe the betrayer has the bulk of the work to do, particularly at the front end of the journey, but absolutely the two of you need to be involved. So that's that's one difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is for you, about you, done within you. Reconciliation is about the relationship. It's about the two of you, and it does need the two of you to achieve. The second distinction I want to draw between forgiveness and reconciliation is that forgiveness can be instant. Like literally, you can decide today that that's it, I'm letting this go. And it can happen like that. You can literally decide, I am going to forgive. That doesn't mean you're suddenly healed. That doesn't mean it's suddenly wiped away. But it is a decision that, right, I'm not dwelling in this dark emotional space anymore. I choose to let this go. And you can do that work to do that today, right? Forgiveness can be instant. Reconciliation is never going to be an instant thing. It is absolutely a journey, and a long one at that. And this is partly because reconciliation has to include rebuilding trust. You're not going to rebuild trust overnight. Trust is built brick by brick by brick, drop by drop, day by day, situation by situation, example by example. And it builds nice and slowly in that way. And that is a huge part of the reconciliation journey. So we're never going to be able to do that overnight, in a week, not even in a month, right? We're looking at a long haul journey. And that's why, again, it needs two of you to be committed to this journey if reconciliation is going to work. The third distinction to be made between forgiveness and reconciliation is that forgiveness is a gift. This is something that I'm doing. I don't need you to say sorry. I don't need an apology. This is something I'm choosing for me. and I'm going to give it to myself, regardless of what you choose to do, right? Reconciliation, though, is not a gift, it's a mutual agreement. Like me and you have to go into this together, and there's certain components that need to be involved, such as accountability, there needs to be remorse, there needs to be a commitment, there needs to be repair, there needs to be change, right? In order for us to go on this reconciliation journey. So I want you to take a moment and just consider two things. One, maybe you're the person who is really desiring reconciliation. You're the one that's been betrayed, but maybe you so desperately want things to get right that you're pushing along this reconciliation journey, but the other person isn't showing up with the components required for this mutual agreement. Remember what I said, reconciliation is a mutual agreement. There needs to be two people observing the laws of reconciliation, doing what is necessary, and for sure, from their point of view, the components they need to be bringing in is the accountability and the remorse and the commitment to repair. But if they're not doing that side, you cannot reconcile. And that is just going to leave you highly frustrated, more hurt, more traumatized, and more disappointed. Or you may be the person who is locked in a cycle of guilt around their forgiveness. Maybe you know that you've chosen to forgive, because you're not quite ready to go on that reconciliation journey. You keep questioning whether you've forgiven or not. Remember, your forgiveness is different from reconciliation. It is very much possible for you to say, okay, I've absolutely forgiven you, but I'm not ready to go on this reconciliation journey, okay? Or to forgive and just take your time to decide if and when you want to start the reconciliation. Now, if you're in this place of confusion, I think one of the great things that you can do is to understand what you need right now. And if reconciliation is something that you're considering, but you're just a little bit unsure, then I would suggest that you take a moment to figure out what you need in order to feel emotionally safe. Sit down with a journal and a pen and write this down, write down your thoughts, but come up with three things that you need to see in order to help you feel safe enough to go on this reconciliation journey. The forgiveness is one thing, but do I feel safe to go on this journey of reconciliation? And maybe you might find that actually I need to see more remorse, or I need to see accountability, or I need to see active change. I need to see more support. Whatever it is that you need to see, get really clear on it, and then have a look and see, am I getting this right now? Or am I just forcing my way along this reconciliation journey because I think that that's what I'm supposed to do because I've forgiven? Does that make sense? Listen, if you're really struggling with this, then absolutely get in contact with me. Let's talk about how one of my programs can help you, especially if you're in a place where you're saying absolutely this betrayal happened, and we want to consider and have a look at what rebuilding our marriage after infidelity could look like. Reach out to me, book a 30-minute consultation call with me. The link is in the description. And also, if you're finding this content helpful, then go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.